Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Calendar Meteorite dial. You can see this Master Calendar Meteorite and our entire collection of Jaeger-LeCoultre on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Master Calendar Meteorite and our entire collection of Jaeger-LeCoultre timepieces. Now, the current generation of the Master Calendar came out in 2013, but there's been a calendar wristwatch in the catalog for JLC since at least the late 1930s. Now, of course, from 2013, the watch took on a much more shapely and handsome, one might say, 39mm tapered lug thin profile case, and in 2015 that elegant modern case was combined with the Meteorite dial option that you see here. Now the watch is 39mm across the broad of the case from 9 to 3, not inclusive of the crown. It's reasonably slim considering the complexity inside, 303 pieces and 32 jewels. It's, as you can see, only 10.7mm thick with a generously sloped conical bezel. This is an easy watch to slide underneath the dress cuff. Now across the wrist, you can see that it's reasonably constrained. At 46.9mm lug to lug, that's the horizontal distance across the wrist. You can wear this watch easily on a smaller wrist. I would say down to 13.5 centimeters in circumference. It's going to look right and it's going to fit right. But if your wrist is bigger, it has enough presence, enough visual impact that it's not going to look small or outpaced by the size of your arm. This is a watch that has outsized personality. It also has handsome and modern appointments, including a high-grade hand-stitched semi-gloss black rectangular scale alligator leather strap. You can see it's bolstered down the center with a monotone stitch, folded edge, calf skin, and natural grain on the underside, and then a full deployant clasp. One of the cost-saving measures implemented for 2017 on the Sector Dial series in the Master Collection was the elimination of the full folding clasp, and for the additional substance and security it gives while donning or removing at bedside, especially with a complicated watch, this is really a feature I consider essential when you're paying close to $10,000 for a watch, above or just beneath. Now you can see all of high polish. The case is fairly simple. The primary innovation in going from the 2005 Master Calendar to the 2013 model was that the case became thinner, a little bit smaller in diameter, and the lugs became sweeter, more tapered, more spare. And it's an effect that I think will last the test of time. You can see a small hairline bevel on the flank in the transition from the shoulder to the top of the lug. All of high polish. Thanks to its thin profile, this doesn't seem garish in any way. There are two strong character lines created by the junction of the case back with the mid-case and the bezel with the mid-case. The bezel is sharp, angular, conical, and gives way to a spectacular dial. Now you can see the characteristic Widmanstatten pattern, essentially the iron grain of the meteorite itself. The meteorite being a metal, and metal having a tendency to oxidize. It's partially oxidized and then frozen and stabilized to create the pattern you see here. Now, of course, no two meteorite fragments being exactly the same, no two dials within this series will be exactly the same, each one effectively becoming something of a piece unique aesthetically. Now, you can see blackened indices and Arabic numerals on the dial. I will say that the watch is loomed. You could miss it at first glance, but there is luminescence at the four corners, 12, 3, 6, and 9, and the Dauphine hands, which are nicely half-frosted and faceted down the center, also feature thin strips of luminova, so the watch does have utility in low light. Now, the complete calendar is represented in a fashion that I find most intuitive. First, aperture displays. You can see the day and the month, and there's a handsome step down from the plane of the dial to the date discs. I appreciate that for the aperture system. Also, there's a radial date with a beautiful blue crescent representing the moon and echoing the blue of the moon phase itself, and that indicates the radial date. You'll also see there is a second sub-register with a small countersink and then a Guyot-shaped pattern on its top, giving way to a standard crescent-shaped moon phase. Now, all adjustments are done through pusher adjusters on the flanks of the case, and an impressive hood is opened to reveal an impressive engine. Now, this is the caliber 866/1 to be precise, 32 jewels, 303 pieces. It's essentially the successor to the 889 on the bottom with a complicated module on the top, and you can see the pusher adjusters out of line with the crown. It's a modular complication. What it is, though, is very tough. Free sprung. It features a free sprung balance It is extremely precise and tested as a fully cased up watch. In the Master 1000 hours test power reserve, resistances, chronometric performance, water resistance, winding efficiency. So it has the Master 1000 hours certification, but also has a number of detail refinements beside the free-sprung architecture. It is a double laser welded hairspring at the stud and the collet for still more stability in the face of vibrations and concussion, and it features a unidirectional winding system more efficient than the old 889's bidirectional system. The efficiencies of the unidirectional winding compounded by the ceramic unlubricated rotor bearings at center. And finally, you can see it is nicely decorated, even if much of it is executed by machine. You have a handsome linear Côte de Genève on the winding mass as well as the bridges, true kiln-fired heat-oxidized blued screws. You can see an open barrel that helps this watch to retain its thin profile, and you'll also note some elements of the reduction wheel and winding system have been straight-grained and high-polished for visual impact. It's a handsome machine, no doubt, but this is its best facet. Distinctive, iconic, and incredibly practical. It features an element of everyday complication in the calendar with the romance of the moon phase and the celestial or cosmological associations of the meteorite dial itself. See it and own it on our website.